Hello. Making the most of the nice weather today. It's going to change later in the week. I want to talk about onions this week, or more specifically alliums, which are the onion garlic family. And that's kind of a bit prompted by the fact that my last string of onions has just been used up, and I'm just about to use the last string of garlic, which is already sprouting. Now, we pride ourselves that we can have members of the onion family, let's call it that, all year round. And I thought it might be interesting to show not just the succession that we do of basic onions and garlic, but alternatives that are available to the smallholder and self-reliant type that you can use when it's very hard to keep those alliums for as long as is necessary. So we're into almost now the hungry gap, where stored food is used up or spoiling. Let's show you around a little bit and show you what we're doing to get through the hungry gap as regards alliums. Come on. Here's our last sad little string of garlic. It'll probably get us through. But as you can see, it's all starting to sprout, so if we don't use it, it'll go over anyway. So what can we do given that we're about to run out of stored bulb garlic? Well, a few years ago I transplanted, with the kind permission of a landowner, some bulbs for this. And this is ramsons, or wild garlic. Comes up very early in the spring, absolute delight to eat, and is a wonderful alternative to stored bulb garlic. And we also have this, and this again comes up very early. This is what's known as three-cornered leek. Quite a garlicky flavoured, oniony flavoured, wild growing herb of the allium family. And there's more, just in this bed. Here, the garlic chive. Not truly a chive, but a flat leaf relative, member of the allium family. Flowers very early, delicately flavoured, and a little bit different to the more traditional chive. So what we've got there are 4 members of the allium family, all of which are in first flush, where the more bulb forming onions and bulb garlic are almost out of use. However, we're still going to need those. So let's go and have a look at what we're doing to grow for those later in the season. So first up, here we have seed sown onions. Sow them early enough, you can get a crop in 1 year. Sow them later, you can produce onion sets, which can then be planted out for an early finish the following year. We've got all of that up in the veg bed. So this is seed sown stuff, sown in early February, and we'll get bulbs out of that this year. We've got a lot more going on in the vegetable beds, so let's take a look at that. So here in the vegetable beds we have shallots. I think shallots are a real friend to the self-reliant type, because you just keep your biggest and best bulbs each year and replant later the same year. So I tend to harvest around June and replant late September, early October. And we do the same with garlic. So this will be this year's garlic. As you can see, already off to a great start. We planted it early October last year. So shallots and garlic done well need no seed to be bought in. Next, we have some leeks. Now leeks, I think, are the one member of the allium family that with care you can have all year round. Look at these. These are fresh and lovely, dying to be eaten. But these were put in about August last year. So there's absolutely no reason why with some succession planting you cannot have leeks any day you want them. As you can see, other elements of this bed have already been consumed, so it's time to sow more leeks to get them in for later in this year. And then in this bed we have overwintering onions. So all of these were sets planted out back end of last year, around October time, got off to a good start, and now as the soil's warming up, they're just ready, the roots are already down, they're ready to leap away, and these will form very early onions this year because they're off to such a good start. Now that may seem good, but of course they're not going to store as well, so they won't last through till next year, because we'll have them out the ground by June. So in this bed we have spring planted sets, and these will become our storage onions for this year. Now that may look an empty bed, but if we look closely you can see the little sets are just putting their heads up now, and those we can harvest in the autumn, string and store along with the garlic, and they will see us through the winter until we start the cycle again. So that's just a little insight into how we keep up with the need that we have for onions, garlic, leeks, shallots, all those types of members of the onion family. And with a bit of thought, you can have fresh all year round. Now, we've got to get better at it. We're not perfect. I need to get better at producing my own onion seed, and the seed grown onions you saw earlier are actually an open pollinated variety and suitable for seed saving. So that's something new I'm going to try this year. But I hope it gives an insight that as smallholders, as self-reliant types, we can grow a whole variety of things that aren't suitable for commercial use. But actually for us, they fill gaps, they give interest, they give flavours that you just can't buy in the shops. You try your ramblings, your wild garlic, your three-cornered leeks, your garlic chives, and tell me that that's not worth producing, because it's a burst of freshness in the spring when your body's craving for it. So we can do a lot, we can always have fresh, we just need to think about it. Hope that was interesting. You enjoy the rest of this beautiful weather, and we'll talk soon.